6 p.m. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The foreign minister says Pakistan and Turkey are on the same page on all issues of strategic importance. The Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi is arriving in Pakistan tomorrow at the invitation of Prime Minister Imran Khan. Kashmiris on both sides of the line of control and abroad are observing Right to Self-Determination Day today. Nawaz Sharif has filed petition in the Islamabad High Court seeking suspension of his sentence in the Al-Azizia reference. Maritime Security Agency has arrested 5 Indian fishermen for violating Pakistan's territorial waters. In Yemen, heavy clashes erupted between the government troops and the Houthi rebels in Hodeidah city today. And now the news in detail. The Foreign Minister Shah Mehmood Qureshi says Turkish investors have evinced keen interest in Pakistan's 5 million housing project. He made the remarks at the conclusion of Prime Minister Imran Khan's visit to Turkey. The foreign minister termed the Prime Minister Imran Khan's meeting with the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan as very comprehensive. He said the Turkish President will soon visit Pakistan along with a high-level delegation, including investors. The foreign minister said a high-level cooperative council will be established between the two countries. He said foreign ministers of the two countries will meet in the midst of this year to work out the modalities of the council. Shah Mehmood Qureshi said a trilateral summit will also be held in Istanbul amongst Pakistan, Turkey, and Afghanistan. He said the Afghan president has also responded positively to attend the summit. Meanwhile, in a tweet today, the foreign minister Shah Mehmood Qureshi said Pakistan and Turkey are on the same page on all issues of strategic importance. He said the leadership of both the countries will collectively transform their friendship into a more robust partnership. The Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, arrives in Pakistan tomorrow at the invitation of Prime Minister Imran Khan. During the visit, the United Arab Emirates Crown Prince will have a one-on-one meeting with the Prime Minister, followed by delegation-level talks. This is the third interaction between the leadership of Pakistan and the United Arab Emirates in less than 3 months, which is a testimony to the special nature of brotherly relations between the two countries. The Minister for Defence Production, Zubaida Jalal, has congratulated the nation and the armed forces on the successful induction of indigenously developed A-100 rocket in the multiple launch rocket system. She extended felicitations in a statement in Islamabad today. Pakistan has once again called for the establishment of Commission of Inquiry by the Office of High Commissioner for Human Rights to probe the Indian atrocities in occupied Kashmir. In a tweet on the occasion of Kashmiri's Right to Self-Determination Day today, the Foreign Office spokesperson Dr. Mohammad Faisal said continuing bloodbath in the Hill Valley and the unresolved Jammu and Kashmir dispute is a collective failure of the world. The spokesperson said Pakistan will continue to extend political, diplomatic, and moral support to Kashmiris in their legitimate struggle for their inalienable right to self-determination. The Minister for Kashmir Affairs and Gilgit-Baltistan, Ali Amin Gandapur, says the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf government is making vigorous efforts to resolve the Kashmir issue during its 5 years tenure. In an exclusive talk with Radio Pakistan's correspondent Bilal Khan Masood, he urged the international community to stand for the Kashmiris' birthright of self-determination and get the Indian brutality stopped against them. The minister said India is committing grave human rights violations in occupied Kashmir by using brute force against the innocent civilians. He said Prime Minister Imran Khan, after assuming the office, had made it clear that Pakistan wants peace with India and Islamabad will take 2 steps if New Delhi takes 1 towards forging tranquility. He said Imran Khan had also said Pakistan's desire for peace should not be misconstrued as its weakness, and there would be no talks with India without discussing the Kashmir issue, as it is our top priority. Kashmiris on both sides of the line of control and the world over observe the right to self-determination day to day to remind the world community that the United Nations resolutions on Kashmir remain unimplemented even after the passage of 7 decades, according to the Kashmir Media Service. On this day in 1949, the United Nations Security Council adopted a resolution acknowledging the Kashmiris' inalienable right to self-determination. This is Radio Pakistan. Former Prime Minister Mohammad Nawaz Sharif has filed a petition in the Islamabad High Court seeking suspension of sentence in the Al Azizia reference. The petition was submitted by former Prime Minister through his counsels after removing objections of the Registrar Office. The National Accountability Bureau authorities produced PMLN leader Khwaja Saad Rafiq and his brother Khwaja Salman Rafiq before the Accountability Court in Lahore today in the Paragon housing scam. The Honorable Judge of the Court, Mr. Justice Syed Najmul Hassan, granted a 14-day physical remand of Khwaja brothers for interrogation in the Paragon housing scam. Khwaja brothers will be again produced before the court on the 19th of this month. Pakistan Maritime Security Agency, in an action in the open sea, has arrested 5 Indian fishermen for violating the country's territorial waters and doing illegal fishing. A spokesman of the agency said boats of the fishermen have also been taken into custody. The arrested fishermen were handed over to the docks police station after initial investigations. The Khasadar force recovered weapons from a truck at the Pak-Afghan border in Torkham today. According to a spokesman of the Khasadar force, the arms include 113 repeater guns, which were concealed under coal being transported through a truck from Afghanistan. The driver of the truck was also arrested. In Afghanistan, 15 personnel of the Afghan Border Police Force and 29 Taliban have been killed in separate incidents in Kandahar and Faryab provinces. 15 security personnel were killed and 7 others injured in an overnight attack of the Taliban against a security checkpoint at the border town of Spin Boldak in Kandahar. According to the Afghan security forces, 16 Taliban were also killed and 11 others injured in the clash. Meanwhile, 13 Taliban were killed in an operation by the security forces in northern Faryab province. During the operation, which was launched by the special forces units against the Taliban hideouts in Almar district, militants' trenches and weapon caches were also destroyed. In Yemen, heavy clashes erupted between the government troops and the Houthi rebels in Hodeidah city today, ahead of a visit of the United Nations Special Envoy for Yemen, Martin Griffiths, in Sanaa. The fighting flared up near Hodeidah University and the Rabasa quarter in the southern edge of the port city, despite a United Nations brokered ceasefire during the peace talks in Stockholm, Sweden last month. In a statement, the United Nations headquarters in New York said Martin Griffith is visiting Sanaa to cement the fragile ceasefire. Earlier, the Houthi group said it has begun withdrawing from Hodeidah ports in order to implement the first phase of the redeployment. The American Secretary of State Mike Pompeo will visit 8 Middle Eastern countries from Tuesday for talks on security issues and the situation in Yemen, Syria, and Iran. A senior State Department official said during a conference call in Washington that Mike Pompeo's trip comes amid concerns after President Donald Trump's decision to withdraw troops from Syria. And now cricket. On the third day of the second cricket test match against South Africa at Cape Town, Pakistan, in the second innings were 164 runs for the loss of 3 wickets a short while ago. Earlier, South Africa in the first innings were all out for 431 runs, gaining a lead of 254 runs. South Africa lead the 3-match series 1-0. And finally, the weather. More rain thunderstorm with snow over the hills is expected at scattered places in Malakand, Hazara, Rawalpindi divisions, Islamabad, Gilgit-Baltistan, and Kashmir, while at isolated places in Peshawar, Kohat, Mardan, Sargodha, Lahore, and Gujranwala divisions. However, more rain thunderstorm with snowfall over the hills is expected in Gilgit-Baltistan, Kashmir, and its adjoining hilly areas. Foggy conditions are expected in South Punjab and Upper Sindh during night and morning hours. More snowfall over the mountains is also expected in Mari, Galyat, Malakand Division, Gilgit-Baltistan and Kashmir during the period. Cold and dry weather has been forecast elsewhere in the country during the next 12 hours. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.